Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Living in Hawaii. Aloha, Sasha and Danielle. How are you today?
Doing great, thank you.
Good. Aloha.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for making the time to be with me today. For those of you tuning in, see livinginhawaii.com. We are here to share with you. We're going to discuss which island best fits you, which is just perfect. I love that. You have myself from Hawaii Island and Sasha from Oahu and Danielle from Maui. Let's go ahead and start with a quick introduction, starting with Danielle, please.
Aloha, good morning. I'm Danielle Harris from Maui. Beautiful Maui.
Welcome. How about you, Sasha?
Aloha, everybody. I'm Sasha Thompson out of Oahu and born and raised here. Love raising my family and living and working here, and glad to be here this morning.
Same here for me. As I briefly mentioned, Misty Padilla here from Hawaii Island, born and raised Kailua Kona girl, and I am very blessed to call this island my home. So let's just dig right in, ladies. Of course, we're all going to say our island is the best, our island is this, our island is that. And the beauty of it is here in Hawaii, yes, every island is so unique. And it's such a privilege to call home, any of our islands. And I'm going to start with my island, of course. Let's talk about the most unique feature of what captures you and your family that really triggered you to call this place home. And so, yes, for me, of course, I was born and raised here. So, yes, it is my home. I feel, of course, of all the Hawaiian islands, the Big Island is best suited for our family because of weather, weather, lifestyle, cost, all the things that we can totally talk about. But the features that really uniquely stand out to me, that keeps me culturally grounded, of course, we have the most active volcano in the world that is on our island. Do I get to see it all the time? Absolutely not. Shame on me. I need to make time to go and visit so that we can go ahead and feel the essence of all the beauty that this island has to offer. But yes, the volcano for sure is a unique feature on our island. And then, of course, the mountains. We're going to keep talking about the Mauna on every island, but we have Mauna Kea, which is the tallest mountain in the world from sea level up. And it's absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. But not only that is, culturally speaking, is when it comes to the mana. The mana, or that power from all of these elements that just embody our island, to me just makes it so much more special, sacred, and of course why Hawaii Island is truly the best. So I'm going to stop there because we can just go on and on. We'll keep sharing more and more. But Sasha, go ahead and share, what you feel is the most unique thing about Oahu. And then we'll just keep digging deeper into all the details of why your island is by far the best island of choice for your family.
Well, Oahu means the gathering isle, and it is the most populated. We're not the biggest. Big Island is the biggest, Hawaii Island, but we have the largest population and I think the most things to do. So I love living on this island because of the accessibility to just stuff. We have, your medical, we've got shows. I think the best part is our concerts and stuff like that. But I love living here just because of all that Oahu has to offer as far as like lifestyle.
You folks definitely win hands down with having the most lifestyle and opportunities for events on that island, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. And schools, and yeah, there's a lot of like touristy things to do here too, but I enjoy being here, and it's an easy lifestyle. Everything is kind of close just because our freeways connect everything. So within a half an hour to 45 minutes, you can be kind of like anywhere on the island, which is nice. You can go around the island in maybe a couple of hours, or spend the day coasting and taking in the sights and checking out our big surf that, we've got the world coming here to surf. And yeah, Oahu is a pretty vibing island.
That's what it is, the vibing island. So we get to take this moment to flex on all the things that our islands have to offer. What do you have for us on Maui Island, Danielle?
So I believe Maui is the best because we have a little bit of both. We have Hana, which if you just want to escape and go to the beautiful waterfalls and take some hikes, the bamboo forest, or you can go to Haleakala and look at all of Maui and its beautiful views, and be very cold up there. I love the weather change, from Haleakala, Kula, even Pukalani, and then down to Makua. It starts getting a little warmer. And then you can go all the way to Lahaina and have the hustle and bustle of all of the tourists and the busyness of the big little city, and then Kihei as well. But to me, Kihei has the best beaches ever. Just want to just get away, just put your feet and your toes in the sand and the water. It's just amazing. We have such a mix of everything that you could want in a big little island. So I love Maui.
That is so beautiful. And I forgot to mention, of course, now we're going to just keep going back and forth flexing on our island, is Hawaii Island is, of course, so big that you can fit all the Hawaiian islands multiple times on our big island. And that's just, you can't even imagine that. I just can't even fathom that, right? And on our island, of course, yes, it does take a lot of time to commute. So it's definitely not quick, like Sasha said. You know, everything is close. On Hawaii Island, everything is further away. So yes, you gotta allow that extra time. You have to time accordingly. We have one road that goes around the entire island. So if anything shuts down on that one road, it cuts you off. Like that is it. You have to detour and go the other way. Or of course, we have the beauty of cutting through the Mauna, which is Saddle Road. But I wanted to share another unique thing of Hawaii Island is the weather. Is we have like 11 of the 13 climates that you can experience around our entire island, and that's just so beautiful. You want to go ahead and experience the wind, the rain, the sun, the snow. You know, we have that here, and that's just, it's so beautiful. I love that. I love that. Danielle, you know, you made mention about the beaches. Let's go ahead and talk about the beauty of our beaches on each island. Sasha, take it away. Give me maybe the top three best beaches on Oahu.
That's almost hard to say. We got world famous surfing beaches. I want to say, I'm going to give you more. Okay, so Pipeline, Waimea, and Makaha. Those are like the top three like big wave surfing beaches that just come up during the winter, like 20-foot swells. And but then we've also got like some of the most photographed beaches in the world and family friendly, white sandy. I want to say Kailua Lani Kai,
Waimanalo.
Waimanalo. Oh my god, I just got chicken skin. Oh my gosh, Waimanalo is one of the most beautiful ahus in the state. It's one of my favorite places. And if you want to see a sunrise, head to the east side. And then I want to say maybe like Ala Moana Magic Island is good for family friendly picnics, birthdays. There's a lot of events that get held down there and stuff. And then you got like the in between, I want to say like Sandies and like Makapu, or like, you know, it's heavy water, but it's not giant like North Side. But you'll still see some of the best surfers in the world at those beaches, just ripping big old barrels, and it's super fun.
I love that.
And then the tide pools everywhere, because we got a lot of reef, but a lot of sand. So like you can just go hang out at like Ka'ava for the day and just chill with the babies. And you're right there against the mountains, and you know, you want picture perfect, you know, money shots for your photographs. Oh, that was a really great place to do that.
So beautiful. Lots of diversity, you know, from different sides of the islands. You can experience different types of beaches. How about Danielle in Maui? What are the best beaches that you would recommend?
Ooh, so McKenna Big Beach is big, beautiful waves. You do not want to go in there if you don't know how to actually boogie board, though. It can be dangerous, but it's so beautiful. And again, there's so many beautiful beaches in South Kihei. The Camp 3 beaches, my favorite is the Manakai Beach, There's a long stretch of white sand, and I love tide pools. There's so many little tide pools there. But just it's just so beautiful and peaceful, and the waves do not get as big and huge like the North Shore or East Shore of Maui, where at Jaws, much like Sasha was saying, the waves can actually get to like 30 or more feet. That's where people around the world come and like get pulled into these huge monstrous waves. So just to go watch the waves or the windsurfers at Ho'okipa, or the surfers. It's just amazing. And then the west side has many beaches down that area. Gosh, it's endless. Seriously, just beautiful.
That is so beautiful. And of course, for Hawaii Island, not only do we have white sandy beaches, but we have black sand beaches and green sand beaches. So I think I win for the flex of the beaches here of all
Yeah.
the islands.
I'm kind of jealous. I want a green beach.
I know.
I want the emerald green.
It's so beautiful. And that's, another thing is I do feel, with us as, local people that live here, like we just take for granted what we really have. That for me personally, I don't take enough time to really bask in the presence and the beauty of what our island really has to offer. We just take it for granted that we live here. We have access to it every single day. But do we really, embrace it and take advantage of what nature really provides? And I'm just excited that we get to share and convey that to our followers here, because these are important factors that everyone needs to know, what each island has to offer. Sasha, you made mention on Oahu for all the activities and the fun stuff, that Oahu is, of course, the most populated. Let's go ahead and talk about that when it comes to the population and the things to do, both pros and cons. I'd like for you to share all of that on Oahu Island, please.
Like I said, we are the gathering isle. Oahu means like to gather. And so we do have like the highest population here. Most of the state lives on this island. Pros, you've got friends, like everybody, you got a lot of people here. It's hard to be lonely. And there's a lot to do. I would say the cons is there's so many people that we're stuck in traffic and we wait in lines a little bit. But, our infrastructure is built out to handle everybody. And so, it is what it is. But I mean, I like the lifestyle of being able to gather with friends and family, and because we're not like the Big Island where you're hours away from, it's easier for us to have parties and like get together on the weekends and just enjoy. Yeah.
Very, very true. Is having the opportunity to surround yourselves, with family and friends. It's really important, especially for us culturally. How about
It's
you,
great
Danielle?
for networking too. Yeah.
It
sorry.
is in all business.
Yeah, if you're in the business, Honolulu is the place to be for business, because we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, man. And this is like Oahu Island, I would say, is probably the business capital of our state too. So a lot of companies come here to work. They send temporary workers, nurses, and things like that. So
Very true. Very true. How about moving over to Maui Island, Danielle? What can you share with us with what Sasha has touched on Oahu? How can you compare that to Maui?
So you have both. You can be secluded if you want. You can do your remote work from upcountry area. It's further away from the busyness of like town area, which is Kahului, Wailuku, or Kihei. But I know some people love coming here and just being in the middle of it all. So you can do either, really. You could also go to Haiku or Hana, but reception-wise, if you work remotely and you need to jump on some calls, that's going to be a little more difficult with your connectivity. So you would not need to look into that as well. But you just have a variety and you can choose.
Very, very true. Now, with that in mind, we talk about the population and the busyness, so to speak, of each island. And I can say that for Hawaii Island, yes, we are, to me, considered probably the most laid back island. We're definitely not as fast paced as Maui and Oahu. And that's the beauty that I love about us here is we're a little more lax. We're a little more laid back. Things do take a little more time, like we said, to commute. It takes more time to travel back and forth to certain areas. On the other note, for being on Hawaii Island is we are limited with resources. We do not have as much resources as maybe Maui or Oahu would have. And with that, I'm speaking about, when it comes to grocery shopping or, retail, all of these things, we have that available, but we just don't have an abundance of it like Oahu would have. So you want to consider that when moving to Hawaii Island is expect that, we're not going to have all the massive things that all the other islands have to offer. But I love that. And it works well for us. How about for Oahu Island, Sasha? Let's jump and let's talk about cost of living. I know that's huge. That's usually the biggest deciding factor when people decide to relocate or call their place, home is cost and, of course, safety. So let's talk about cost of living.
Cost of living, it's high here. It's high. Hawaii period is high. A gallon of milk is cheapest is at like Walmart or Costco for like $5, almost $6. Anywhere else, you're paying like $8 to $10 for a gallon of milk. Bread right now is like $7 or $8 a loaf. So gas, we're at about $4. So I mean, it's Hawaii prices, and I don't know, it doesn't seem to ever go down.
You're absolutely right. We really pay to live. We pay the price for paradise. But if I'm not mistaken, to our hourly pay or income is actually higher than most areas too. But then again, there's a balance of that, right? We get paid well in certain areas, but yet cost of milk is $12 a gallon here in Hawaii.
Well, we're shipping everything over too. So we need to remember that everything comes on a boat, right? Well, some stuff comes on a plane now. But for the majority of like our food products and what sustains us, it comes on a ship. So if those ships stop coming or there's a delay or somebody knocks out a bridge in Boston, then things, the prices come up in the meantime to kind of offset, all those things. So you might want to try and grow some food and get a cow. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Not definitely get a cow. Learn to live off the land from farm to table, right?
Yep.
Yes. Sasha, you hit it on point is we do live on an island. So yes, our resources and our means of receiving these resources are very, very limited. So yes, we got to just embrace what we have and take it for what it is. And it just takes time, just plan, right? We just got to plan ahead of time and be able to manage expectations. And then we can just enjoy island life as opposed to seeing it as a negative, like, oh my gosh, we don't have this, we don't have that. It's like, okay, but we have this and all the other things that no one else in the world has.
Well, might I add in that, we were talking earlier about how it's shame on us. We don't see our beautiful beaches and it's because we trying to pay for staying here. So we work a lot. Like if you live here, unless you're retired and you got some money and you can just chill, you are working a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Like 3 jobs. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And fortunately, yes, we continue to stay here, right? We try not to be one of those families that are really forced to be priced out of paradise. We try to make it work. We have multiple families that hui together. We can go on to that subject next, but let me go ahead and tag on Danielle. If you can just touch on what Sasha and I had talked about, in comparison to Maui Island, when it comes to the cost of living and our resources, how does Maui Island fit into all of this?
So I feel it's very comparable to what Sasha was saying, that Hawaii, I believe, is the highest in the U.S. to live. I think groceries alone, I saw a study that our grocery bills have increased by 40 to 50% from just 2 years ago. Like, oh my gosh. So yes, people are working 2-3 jobs. So the only time they can enjoy sometimes the sunset, the beautiful sunset, is while they're driving home from work, from their third job. So it's very difficult. but so worth it because it's home to us. It's where we've raised our children. For me, we have 8 grandchildren. Most of them are here on Maui. So we're just gonna do what we gotta do, create our own income, and just yes, just work very hard to enjoy our beautiful island.
You're absolutely right. And that totally paves the way for me to talk about our next topic is how we need to hui together as families and depend on our village. It takes a village is so true, especially living here in Hawaii Island. It takes a village to be able to live and sustain and do all the things. And for myself, on our island, yes, everything is further away. I have a very big family. We're a family of 10 children, big blended mixed family. Not all 10 are living under one roof, but we have more than enough under a roof where it takes more than myself to make things happen. And we do depend on other family members to assist. We've got work to do on top of commuting and taking children to school, picking them up, getting them to sports. In the meantime, trying to run the household, the typical daily life that everyone has to everyone goes through it, but specifically on our island, because things are further away, it literally takes like anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes to get from point A to B in heavy traffic. And then times it'll just take 10 minutes. But there are moments, throughout the day where I'm stuck at work doing my thing. And then I got to call so-and-so and so-and-so. Can you pick up kid number 1 and take him to this and then pick up kid number 2? Like it really takes a village. And I just feel that what Sasha touched on with being the gathering place on Oahu and just being able to network with family and friends, that is just truly the only way to really be able to enjoy paradise and be able to live in Hawaii is by networking with everyone. Can you agree with me there, Sasha and Danielle?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep. So I have people, they would come. I worked in Waikiki a long time, and I think anybody who lives on Oahu and you're going to stay here, you're going to end up working in Waikiki at some point, okay? Because tourism is like our main bread and butter here on this island for sure. But I'd have tourists asking me like, how do you guys do it? How can you do it? And I'm like, we live together. Like we live together. Like when you're 18, I'm sorry, but in other places, when you're 18, you kind of get kicked out and you're on your own and go do it. Like here, we're like, no, you need to get a job and help pay rent and you're going to pay for your room. Because, if you're going to move out anyway, you'll probably end up living with aunties and uncles or cousins. Or you won't be by yourself. There's just not enough room here to do that. It's really high cost to do that too. So, we talked about on other shows, cost of living here. And so, like Misty said, it takes a village and we all have to hui together and stay together. And that's how we do it. And so if you want to check some guy out and he's 28, still living at home with his mama, that is nothing that you should be ashamed of. That is like awesome because he's taking care of the family. Yeah, that's not a bad thing here. That's actually very common. So,
yeah. Very true. Thank you for touching on that. How about for Maui Island, Danielle? I know it is, smaller, one of the smaller of the islands. Do you experience that as well on Maui Island with families having to hui together, to be able to enjoy more quality of life and just make it through day by day?
Absolutely. Always family helping each other in every way, picking up the kids, businesses together, creative businesses together, just in every way. Family is so close knit and always thinking of each other. How can I best help, in any way? And I love how families get so creative with each other. That's amazing too.
Very true. Let's go ahead and talk about job opportunities. Let's start with Oahu. Sasha, how do you feel the job market and the job opportunities, are on the island of Oahu? I know it's very different, of course, throughout, you've got the East, the West, and all the things. How do you feel? Do you feel that it's going to be very hard to get a job on Oahu Island these days?
Not really. I think that our job market here is probably pretty steady. There's a lot of work. You just people just don't want to work. That's the truth. People, there's jobs out there. You can go get a job. My son was like getting jobs, no problem. He applied and that, but I think commute is a big thing. If you are actually still working in like an office and you got to go downtown, working, you will definitely need to consider what part of the island you're working in before you pick a place to live, because that's going to play a big part. I get people like, oh, I'm from wherever and I drive an hour to work, or I drive 30 minutes to work, but you're driving. Here you're sitting, and there's a big difference, man. It's like, it's hard on the body when you're just sitting for an hour and creeping through traffic, and it's annoying. And so you need to consider where you're going to live as far as where you're going to work, definitely, because of that. And if you're coming like out of the west side, there's not so much business out that side, and people have to travel in. And so you'll hit Kapolei next. That's where I am. And this is kind of like Oahu's second city. And so we got a lot of businesses. We got so much stuff coming up. It's like still in development. It's still getting built out. Everywhere you look is construction coming up everywhere. So definitely you can do that. But I think the trend nowadays for everybody is really like online and working from home and being able to work remotely, which we had another show about that. And yeah, so I think Oahu's job market is very healthy.
Good word to use. Very, very healthy. And yes, I agree with us on Hawaii Island as well. There's so much job opportunity. People just need to get out there and find it. And if not, then create it. I think ever since COVID, things have really taken a shift for all the islands. But now on our island, again, we're very limited with resources. We don't have very many stores to go by. But at the same time, when you see that all these stores are closing or shutting down early, they all have the same common factor, that it's because they don't have workers. So I'm like, I don't understand. Like, where are these workers? I'm apparently, like Sasha said, nobody wants to work. I don't know. Whatever we're doing, we need to do, because we're always working. But everywhere we go, there's a shortage of workers. So yes, there is a lot of job opportunities out there. You just need to go out there and find it and make it your own. Do you experience that as well on Maui Island, Danielle?
Absolutely, same thing. So many companies are saying we need workers, we can't keep workers. It seems to be younger people that don't show up, or their work ethics are not as good as they should be. So it's quite disheartening for a lot of companies. But like Sasha said, also, there's so many jobs out there from any type, like tourism, that's biased, but in the bar, in the restaurants, in the stores, Starbucks, also the airlines, they're always looking for people to work there as well.
Thank you very much for sharing that. I want to go ahead and talk about, let's talk about schools and families that have children. Let's talk about, Sasha. Is it very hard to find the right schools for your children? Like, do you guys have a lot of opportunity and availability? Let's go ahead and talk about the schools on Oahu, please.
I think we've got schools in every community. Department of Education is, it's pretty good here, I guess. But Oahu also has a lot of our private schools that are well known in the state, like Punahou, Kamehameha, Mid-Pac, different schools. And then a lot of our college systems are here too. So we got a lot of people coming from out of state to go to school here for like college and, furthering education. And I think it's just like the chance to be in Hawaii too. So, yeah.
And it's like a lot of our children go to school in other states, but yet a lot of other children only dream of coming to Hawaii for college, so
yeah,
definitely.
We also have a lot of charter schools too. I don't know if you folks have that on the other islands, but we have charter schools, and I think those are actually pretty awesome. It's almost like, I want to think of it almost like a trade school, like how you would go to college and you just like focusing on one thing. But charter school, they're really good because they help they're more for kids that need like hands-on learning and just don't do good sitting in a classroom looking at books, you know. And so those are really cool because they get them out into the field, they get them in the lo'i, they get them in the fish ponds, they get them farming and, you know, doing things that are like culturally sustaining as well as like lifestyle sustaining. So I think it's pretty
Very
cool.
true. We have amazing charter schools on the island, and yes, they do provide all those lifestyle skills, you know, that they don't learn in traditional school settings. We have Hawaiian immersion schools as well, and it's just beautiful. You know, there's so much opportunity with the schooling here, though. I've noticed because my children are all in school, is the zoning. Is a lot of families will choose where they live based on the zone that their child will go to school. So that's
Yeah.
another thing to consider is, you know, when you're trying to find that right spot for your family to call home is, yes, you want to look into the commute to school. Yes, when you do choose the place to call home, you do want to consider the commute to work and the commute to schools as well, and the districts that you're going to be in, because that's really what happens is you have to live in that school district for your children. And that's just how the department and the systems run. So a lot of people do choose their home based on what school they want their child to go to.
And that's how it is for now. I'm hearing that things are going to be changing soon, so we'll see.
Right.
Um,
Let's
yeah.
talk about, Sasha, you made mention. Let's talk about traveling inter-island. How often do you come to Hawaii Island, I must say?
On a whim. Like I want to say 1 or 2 times a year, maybe.
That's not enough.
That's not enough. I know. I hop on a plane when I just like something will come up. I hardly ever plan trips. But yeah, being able to hop islands is so awesome. That's one of the things that I love about living here is we're in the same state, but I can hop over to Hawaii or I can hop over to Maui or Kauai and just get a whole different experience. And I love coming to Hawaii Island because I feel like the mana of island itself, because I think the volcano is alive and the energy of it is just, it has like this hum, like this vibration of the aina that you just, when I
It's
get there, I just feel like it's like hugging me and I just want to stay there and not go to work and not do anything. So like I think I might be retiring on Hawaii Island.
very good. Let us know when you're ready to purchase home or land. We could definitely
I'll call
connect.
you up, Misty. Yeah. You set one aside for me, I'll get it in a minute.
No, but you said it on point. It's the mana, you know, it's the essence of every island that just really tugs at your heart. And I truly feel that here, of course, for my island home, Hawaii Island, is, you know, the beauty of, like you said, the mountains from Mauka to Makai, from mountain to sea. There's just so much spiritual connection. I just can't even explain that. And I'm sure, Danielle, you can say the same for Maui Island, you know, of all these things that just draw you to this place that calls you home. Danielle, Sasha, and I were just talking about how do we commute to each other's islands? Do we paddle a canoe? Do we go by boat? We go by plane? And I basically was just picking on Sasha because she doesn't come to Hawaii Island enough by way of airplane. She comes to the island maybe twice a year. How often do you get to travel to Hawaii Island from Maui, Danielle?
I do not travel much. I am always with my children, grandchildren, my businesses, sadly. But my dear friend actually just paddled on a canoe from Maui to Molokai and back. I thought that was amazing. She's a canoe paddler.
Very nice, very nice. Now, let me ask both of you ladies. Tell me, is the reason for you not traveling inter-island as much as you would wish, is it more so because of time factor or cost factor? Both, none? What is it? A, B, or C?
For me, my husband actually works for the airlines, one of his jobs. So we can fly.
So no excuses.
No
excuses. You got to come and visit me.
And I have family on Oahu, so I should be getting there more often for sure.
How about for you, Sasha?
Like I said, I just kind of travel on a whim. It's not usually planned, unless I'm going mainland or out of country or something. Then you got to plan that, right? But Outer Island, it's simple. I mean, it's like $100 round trip ticket on Southwest, and you bring a backpack, and you don't need to like carry nothing. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just hopping on the bus and going to the next town over. That's how I feel. So when I come to Outer Islands, it's really nice. It's just, I visit family, and I don't really do any touristy things or anything like that. But like, the cost is usually pretty good. Hotel rooms are kind of comparable to Oahu too. They're not cheap, but I think maybe you might have more options for Airbnbs and stuff like that on other islands. Maybe not Maui, but Oahu, it's not really an option anymore. So if you're coming here, you're gonna need to rent a room, because good luck finding an Airbnb. But I think, yeah, going outer island is just fun because it's not that expensive. You can do a day trip or fly overnight, or just go for the weekend or something. And it's, you can, what? We've gone to Maui or Kauai, and we just like rent a truck or a van or something and camp out. Like, find a beach and just sleep there for the night, and nobody bothers you. And
That's so awesome. Yes, you can do all things, right? And even let's talk about camping. Camping is very expensive. We love to camp. We really,
Yeah.
really do. And we have beautiful beaches to camp. And that's another favorite pastime, on our island, is being able to just travel, take the family for the weekend, and just camp at the beach. Now they make it so accessible where you can have access to the beach to come in and out. So that's where I kind of cheat all the time. I'll come out to take a hot shower and then go back to the beach to camp. So
Yeah.
what camping options do you folks have, Sasha, now that we're on that subject? What camping options does Oahu have to offer?
See, you're the one that sneaks out at night and goes home to your bed, huh?
I love to sleep at the beach. Don't get me wrong. I love that. It's just I need my hot water to shower. I will boil my hot water at camp if I need to make hot water for myself.
No, we've been there. Camping over here is awesome. There's a few places that you can camp. You do need to get a permit, and it's certain days of the week. Most camping sites, I think they're closed like Wednesday, like Tuesday, Wednesday or something. And I think that just kind of like gives the park maintenance time to clean and get ready for the next weekend and stuff like that. And during like 3 or 4 day holiday weekends, man, campsites are loaded. You need to plan ahead and get your permit like ahead of time and reserve your space, because everybody is going to be there, and we love camping. But like you said, Missy, it's expensive because here we glamp, like you're going to see already whole kitchens, TVs, karaoke machines, generator. That's like unnecessary. Like, we ain't roughing it, okay? Like,
I'm going camping with you now.
exactly. We like to enjoy and have fun and be comfortable.
Right? How about you, Danielle? You folks have those options on Maui Island?
Yes, we do. We have Wainapa Napa State Park. We have Haleakala State Park. We also have Oluwalu. You can choose from being in like a cabin area to like a tent-ish area. And yes, I'm a glamper as well. I need my hot shower. I need my generator.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's jump over to this very, very important topic, ladies, as we talk about our island. For all of us being mommies and very family oriented, let's talk about safety, the safety of each island. I'm going to go ahead and start with Oahu Island, Sasha. What's the best recommendations that you can give everyone on how to find what is the safest spot to call home on Oahu?
We've got a pretty good police force here. Their presence is known, and they are pretty well dispersed through all of our island and our communities. However, drugs are messing with our communities, and I want to say that's the problem that we have right now. There are some communities that are a little bit safer than others. I want to say more like the higher end areas, say maybe like Kahala and like those kind of areas, is we don't really hear a lot of crime happening there, versus some of our I want to say lower income areas, where I think honestly I feel like it's people just being stressed and trying to survive, and it comes out ugly. And
You're
I think
absolutely
that's kind of like the fact of how, I want to say the world, but I know that's just kind of like how it is. And you just want to kind of protect yourself, you know. Don't leave stuff in your car that's somebody wants to take, you know. Lock your stuff up, and be aware of your surroundings, and stay in groups. And you know, I mean, you can see people coming from a mile away if they got like mental issues and stuff like that. Like, you just kind of steer clear. Don't try and engage. Don't entertain, you know, people's craziness. Don't pick up drugs from people you don't know. Nah, just kidding.
but not. It's reality of it, you know. It's
It's
definitely
reality. It really is. We are a metropolitan city. We like I said, we got the highest amount of people here. We got people coming from all over the world, and you just never know what's coming in, you know. And Oahu, I would probably say we need to be the safest here.
absolutely right. What can you share about Maui Island, Danielle?
Pretty much the same issues, sadly. We have little micro communities within our communities, in Wailuku, in Kihei, Lahaina. So, yes, just be wise, be careful. Are they always approaching, or, no. As a concierge, I used to tell my clients, actually, when you go to remote areas that you want to go and take a hike, or, in Hana or Kenai, or, anywhere, Lahaina, Kihei, don't keep your valuables, something visible in your car. Either put it in your trunk, or don't take it with you on the road. It should stay home or at your hotel or your Airbnb. And roll down your windows. Give them one less step to crack your window or anything, right? Don't leave things in your glove box, because that's where they will look first, or under your seat. So, like, just be wise. I'm that person, though, that when I see homeless people by the store, close to dinner time, I will buy them dinner. I'm just that person. So my daughters get a little paranoid, but it's like what Sasha said, like, you can tell if they're going to come at you, like, be wise. So I've taught them all karate. So, be wise, but usually they're lonely. Yeah, they're in a big city, but they're lonely, and they just want to feel like a human themselves. So, but the tweakers, yes, be wise. Sorry.
You're absolutely right. And that's where you just hire us for private security. Enough said.
That is right.
You come to Oahu too.
Going island, we're going to go statewide. So yes.
All right.
You ladies hit it on point. As everyone has to do their due diligence, in researching. I mean, watch the news. You can see it clearly on the news, which areas are highly targeted. Hawaii is definitely the place of paradise, but at the same time, yes, we do have those that do have mental health issues, those that need extra attention and TLC, people that do make Hawaii not the better place to live. It's really, really unfortunate. And it has gotten to a next level, unfortunately. I was always raised where we don't lock anything. I go to the store, I leave my car open, I leave my house open. Like, that's just how I was raised. But now it's like, oh my gosh, you can't even do that. You can't even let your kid go to the bathroom by themselves anywhere, and I'm not used to that. That's not my Hawaii, that's not what it was. But unfortunately, yes, we do need to be extra vigilant and do our due diligence, in finding the safe places to call home. And every island has that. So thank you, ladies, for sharing. And yes, we do have a private security company that keeps us very busy, because it is much needed, and Sasha, you hit it on point. Our police force, they're amazing. They're doing all that they possibly can, but they do need help, because the need is it's far beyond control. Unfortunately, everyone's just coming to Hawaii because it's the better place to live. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's really sad. It really breaks my heart to see. But at the same time, it warms my heart knowing that we have people like you folks and how we have livinginhawaii.com to educate. We got to educate everyone that's coming to Hawaii, how we can make this place better. And I'm grateful for that. So thank you, ladies, for speaking into that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Any final last closing thoughts coming from Oahu Island? We'll go ahead and start with you, Sasha, and then Danielle. Let's just wrap it up, give your final thoughts, and call it a wrap.
Oahu is the best. You need to come to Oahu. I just love living here. This is my home. But you can feel at home at any island. And, when you come visit, just be safe, be aware of your surroundings, come with aloha, come with respect, and enjoy your time here.
Beautiful. How about you on Maui Island, Danielle?
I love that point, Sasha. Respect our culture, please. Respect others. This is not the mainland. Please drive at our speed limits. Please don't let it on the road.
Or don't drive at all.
Throw a shaka.
Oh, we should.
Did you say don't drive a U-Haul?
No, I said, or don't drive at all. If you can't abide the way you drive, stay off the streets.
Because, you can rent a U-Haul if all the cars are, being taken up for an event on the weekend. You can just go rent a U-Haul. No, I'm just kidding.
And go glamping, yes.
Yeah, and go glamping. Camp out in the box truck.
But Maui is no ka'oi.
Maui no ka'oi.
So
Maui waui.
Our island is so magical. I feel like the Big Island, there's just something about Maui that is just unlike any others, and it just draws people to its beauty and the love, I feel, of Maui.
I love that. But through it all, ladies, Big Island mo better. Big Island mo better. And I am very, very grateful to call Hawaii Island my home. And just as you ladies say, is come with aloha, have that intention that what can I give back to the land as opposed to what is the land going to give back to me, is yes, come with aloha, do your due diligence. And yes, every island is so special, so sacred, and just we embrace them all. And if we can have more and more people that has the same intention that we do, it'll just continue to make Hawaii a better place to be. So I'm grateful. And ladies, I am so happy we all have our lei on today. That's
It's May. We wear leis in May. It's not just May Day. We wear them all. Actually, my daughter had a birthday yesterday, so we got gifted leis, and
beautiful.
So I'm gonna wear it. Yeah.
And, I have my tiare. I have tiares here at our house, so every single day I'm making an effort to pick and wear, make lei. I have this puakeni. My daughter just flew in from Las Vegas, so I had extra flour to make lei. So yes, wear a lei, make a lei, give a lei. Just continue to share aloha daily. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate you folks. And thank you for tuning into livinginhawaii.com. Please feel free to reach out to us at any time. We'd love to be your local expert in trying to find a place to call home on Hawaii Island. Have a blessed day, everyone. Aloha.
Aloha.